And now please allow me to introduce Bhuva Shakti, who will deliver our first keynote today right before the pitches. Bhuva Shakti is not only part of our WBF USA board, but she's also been instrumental in hosting the symposium this morning and facilitating the alliances with Women in AI and Columbia Venture Community's impact program for this section, the demo section and the pitch competition. So we're really excited and grateful to her for being here. She serves on numerous leadership roles. One of the main roles is Global Ethics and Culture Officer and the Regional Head of Americas at Women in AI. She also serves as a Senior Director at Capgemini, where she has managed diverse teams and launched several fintech transformation products in investment banking and the compliance industry. As the Financial Inclusion Advisor at WalletMax, Bhuva is committed to promoting positive planet impact and empowering the unbanked and underbanked, with emphasis on sustainable entrepreneurship and digital innovation. With an MBA from Columbia University, Bhuva is an early-stage investor in social impact startups with a vision to accelerate economic freedom and growth while reducing inequalities. Welcome, Bhuva. The floor is yours for our keynote.
Thanks, Ingrid, and thanks for each and every one of our judges and guests and startups that have joined us. I represent Columbia Venture Community Impact Program, Women in AI, and WBAF today. So in our combined partnership, what we have been able to achieve, and we go cross borders so far, and we'll continue to do, is to accelerate women's empowerment, right? So we want to also improve financial inclusion, help fund startups in climate science, clean technologies, innovation and smart cities. Also, we want to ensure people get actionable and accessible fundraising. It's not about funding, but also helping expand underrepresented founders' footprint. So as we wrap up Climate Week New York today, so we've seen over the week, every day, a lot of climate protesters, activists are calling for emergency action in many of our streets. But we also heard in multiple events, there are diversity of solutions, meaning you don't have to do a big bang, large scale solution. It can be very small. I'm also proud to report that Columbia Climate School, which is world's first of its kind, was the university partner officially along with the United Nations in pushing us to amplify real change for this week. And not only this week, we want to continue forward to the future. And why we do this is because we have seen many local communities indirectly impacted due to global warming. So they may not have caused the global warming or emission, but they are impacted. And what we strive every day is to eliminate or reduce direct threat to our collective security in terms of food, energy, water, natural resources, and so on and so forth. And in our combined partnership, what we have also additionally seen, and hopefully today's some of the pitching and fundraising will help remediate that, is women are disproportionately affected in this crisis. And we want to give voice to real leaders in these startups so that there is an inclusive voice in solving the climate crisis. And also recently we heard World Health Organization issuing urgent action. So why would a health organization issue urgent climate action? So it's because climate change is impacting health for everyone on this planet as we speak, not it's something to be addressed in the future. So we know that climate crisis is impacting health infrastructure. We know that there have been multiple outbreaks. We've had new types of diseases due to off-cycle tropical storms. We've seen overwhelming health, workforce, and infrastructure challenges already as we are coming out of a pandemic in between. So it's very critical that there is an interplay between environmental stability and our well-being. So as simply as aiming for cleaner air, better quality of life, cleaner water, better food ecosystems. And we all know that COP28 is happening this year in November. It's the annual Global Climate Conference that brings all countries together, not only bringing together, but also holding everyone to be accountable for whatever they can do to solve the crisis. So we have a separate health day this year where we'll have dedicated solution finding for proactive health challenges due to climate crisis. So some of our priorities will include how can we reduce carbon emissions? So how can we build environmentally sustainable health systems that can run on renewable energy while also we prioritize mental health? So we should also realize that the health crisis and the climate crisis, they are not separate. They are across borders. They impact one community, but they also impact additional communities and can scale globally into a pandemic or a bigger crisis anytime, right? So when we talk about food, it's a similar situation that we want to expand collaboration along the entire food value chain. So we talk about food security quite a lot, but we have minimal emphasis on regenerative agriculture. So regenerative agriculture is something where we can produce food in small or large quantities, but also we can restore the land at the same time and capture carbon. It's more like a 3-in-1 solution to strengthen food security and farming, but also prevent agricultural land degradation. We've seen increasing temperatures, extreme weather events, we've seen droughts, floods, we have reduced production or crop yields, and some of these have changed geographies. So the quality of crop is bad, or certain geographies have stopped growing some of that. So it's becoming a ripple effect where we see in our daily pockets, right? So we've seen short-term supply crisis, price increases. We want to also reduce greenhouse emissions, but also we see there is a lot of uncertainty in crop yields. So what is the challenge in let's say, pursuing regenerative agriculture? So some of these can require upfront financial investments, and that's why we are here to help fund startups in the space and continue to do that so that we can have improved soil health, so we can improve water retention or enhance biodiversity. So the goal is over time, we get consistent crop yields that can gradually become cost effective and profitable. So while we are at a smart cities convention today, we've seen some positive steps happen in health and food space, but what are other key challenges in building a successful and a livable smart city? So I'd say it's economics of the infrastructure, right? So we have to improve the quality of life, even if we can improve by, let's say, 20 to 30% and create room for public partnerships and private sector acceleration, it'll be a huge change as we go into our net zero commitments in the next 5 to 7 years. And it's also very relevant that we are meeting some of you in the innovative clean tech space today. So our goal is not to rebuild or build new infrastructure. We can also upgrade existing infrastructure. So using smart technologies, so we can bring in real-time data analytics with the quality of life improvement metrics being tracked for green jobs or connected environment or safety and so on. So in the earlier days, we saw infrastructure investments could be capital intensive, but also it takes very long time to operationalize, meaning many such investments could take years to materialize. But these days we see new construction and a lot of innovative startups coming up with smarter building solutions that we are able to dynamically respond to demand. For example, instead of waiting for the government to give us an all clean transport, which could take literally years, we can rely on private sector to roll out, let's say, a smaller, faster green fleet in one community and scale it to the next community. So in terms of smart city solutions, we are also looking for use of IoTs or Internet of Things, use of sensors, while ensuring data privacy and device security, which is key for consumers to trust us, where we can assess energy needs in real time, adjust smartly. So do we need more, less, switch off? All that is possible. But also not only energy, water needs, waste elimination, how can we build accessible housing with a focus on mobility and better transport, right? So an ideal smart city need not be 100% perfect, but what we are trying to achieve by funding startups today and every day is to ensure that we improve the health system, let's say by 10-15%. We are able to save tons of water. We are able to provide better emergency response times to save lives, and so on and so forth. So in closing, I want to emphasize that smart cities add digital intelligence to existing urban systems, meaning we don't have to build brand new cities and think long term and do a lot of big steps to achieve a smart city. We can make it a reality to do more with less while also restoring our planet. Most of us know that the net zero transition goal is coming up in 2030, which is like within the next 7 years. So as we move towards that net zero transition, so we want to also focus on science-based targets. We can develop decarbonization pathways, but we should also move towards long-term carbon capture. So we know a lot of startups are also working on capturing carbon that cannot be reduced but can be stored away from human impact, right? And some of the simple steps that businesses can take to integrate net zero goals could be incorporate into their business strategy, plan for long term, install smart technology, sensors, systems that can predict climate risks and market shifts in real time. So our goal is not to go 100% sustainable, reduce revenue, and not the other way, go 100% revenue, reduce climate change. Our goal is how we can synergize sustainable goals achievement while also ensuring economic growth and increasing revenues. So one of the key challenges is also energy security, meaning a lot of consumers might not have financial assistance, or they may have financial barriers to get into, let's say, a solar power or a wind power or a hydroelectric power solutions. So one of the ways we have seen is a lot of startups are bringing in low cost solutions, so everyday consumers can also make a transition, right? So you can invest in sensors that can track emissions across the entire supply chain, and you can start with, let's say, a level 1 direct impact or a level 2 indirect impact to make some changes to your supply chain. And like Ingrid mentioned earlier, I come from a risk management and a regulatory compliance background, so I would also strongly advise staying informed on sustainability regulations.